हा हा मोरा गौरा किशोरा
हा मोरा गौरा किशोरा
हा हा मोरा गौरा किशोरा कबे दया करी शिकोद्रोमा बने
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 देखा देवे माना चोरा
देखा देवे माना चोरा
गौरा किशोरा
मोरा गौरा किशोरा
आनंद सुखदा कुंजेर भीतरे गदाधरे वामे गोरी
आनंद सुखदा कुंजेर भीतरे गदाधरे वामे गोरी
कंचन वरना चंचल चिगुरा
कंचन वरना चंचल चिगुरा
कंचन वरना चंचल चिगुरा
कंचन वरना चंचल चिगुरा
नटन सुवेश धोरी
नटन सुवेश धोरी
नटन सुवेश धोरी
नटन सुवेश धोरी
देखिते देखिते श्री राधा माधव रूपेते करिबे
देखिते देखिते श्री राधा माधव रूपे करिबे
सखी गाना संगे करिबे नाटना
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 गलते मोहना माला
गले मोहना माला
मोरा गौरा किशोरा
मोरा गौरा किशोरा
अनंग मंजरी सदया होइया इता से करिते धोरी
अनंग मंजरी सदाय होइया एदा से करते धोरी
दुहे निवेदिबे दुहरा माधुरी
दुहे निवेदिबे दुहरा माधुरी
तेरी बोलाया ना भोरी
तेरी बोलाया ना भोरी
तेरी बोलाया ना भोरी
तेरी बोलाया ना भोरी
So since this is Hera Panchami today, page 347. No, wait a minute. Kalayati Nayana. Which page is that?
342.
342. May these words spoken by poet Ramanand Rai bring happiness to Gajapati Maharaj Prataprudra. Kalayati nayanam dishi deshi valitam pankajamiva mridu maruta chalitam.
Kalayati nayanam deshi deshi valitam pankajamiva mridu maruta chalitam.
Kalayati nayanam dishi deshi valitam pankajamiva mridu maruta chalitam.
Kalayati nayanam deshi deshi valitam pankajamiva mridu maruta chalitam.
Keli vipina pravishati radha.
Keli vipina pravishati radha
Pratipata samodita manasi japada.
Pratipada samudita manasi japada.
Kalayati nayanam dishi deshi valitam I also spoke 4 times. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Ajanulambito bhujo kadakvadato sankirtane kapitro kamlayataksho Vishambaro dujbaro yugadharma palo Vande jagat priyakaro karunayavataro Samsara dukha jaladasya patitasya kama Krodadinakramakr kamli kritasya Durvasnasya nigritasya nirashayasya Chaitanya chandramama dehi padavalamvam Radha chinta niveshinam yasya kanti vilopita Shri Krishna charanam vande Radha lingitam vigraham Mahabodhe stire kanakaruchire nila shikhare Vasana prasadanta Sahaj balabhadrena balina Subhadra madhyastha Sakala sura seva vasarado Jagannatha Swami Nayana patagami bhavatu me Shri Jagannatha Swami Nayana patagami bhavatu me Bhaktya vihinaya parada lakshay Shiptasya kamadhitarang madhe Kripamayi tam sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste jaranarvindam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All together please.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
My humble obeisances to the divine lotus feet of my Guru Maharaj, Nitla Vishnu Om Vishnu Parastota Shad, Shri Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. And similarly to my Shiksha Gurudevs, Nitla Vishnu Om Vishnu Parastota Shad, Bhakti Vedant Shila Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And Nitla Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad Bhakti Vigyan Shila Bharti Goswami Maharaj. My equal Danda pranams to Abhin Guru Pad Padma, Nitla Vishnu Om Vishnu Pad Bhakti Vedant Shila Vaman Goswami Maharaj, Shila Bhakti Vedant Trikram Goswami Maharaj. My innumerable Dandavat pranams to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and all his prominent disciples, acharyas, Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Rakshar Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj, and one who brought Krishna consciousness to Western world, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. My innumerable Dandavat pranams to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to all his associates who relishing this divine love in Nilachal Kshetra by participating in the pastime of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We from far distance, here in Miami, paying obeisance to that holy land in Nilachal, where Mahaprabhu is dancing and singing and having this beautiful pastime with his associates. To Shri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Sudarshan Chakru, along with all their associates and servants, to Shri Radha Raman Bihari and their eternal servants. My humble obeisances to my senior Guru Mataji, Shrimati Shamrani Didi, and all the brahmacharis, Vaishnav and Vaishnavis, and respected guests. Thank you so much for having me here and for hosting this beautiful program on this special occasion, Hera Panchami. I was hearing lecture of Srila Gurudev. Gurudev was describing Hera Panchami in just 20-25 minutes, reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita years back in Mathura, Shri Keshavji Gauriya. So Gurudev was giving essence of the Hera Panchami, whereas we have this translation by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Beautiful, a very beautiful, with pastime which is full of all Siddhanta and Tattva. And not only that, the mood of Sri Rupa Goswami, what he described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjwal Mani. Mahaprabhu is relishing these moods along with his eternal associate Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. By seeing and relishing this pastime of Hera Panchami. Days back, we had Rath Yatra being celebrated all over the world, pulling the chariot of Lord Jagannath, and many details of this pastime. If you want to read this, I must read this from this book by Srila Gurudev, The Origin of Rath Yatra. So in this period of Rath Yatra, when Jagannath chariot reached to Gundicha temple, and on the 5th day, Panchami, so in that lecture, Srila Gurudev was asking, is Hera Panchami a specific date, or is the 5th day of Rath Yatra? So devotees were commenting on this, saying that it's a 5th day, but Gurudev said, no, it's Hera Panchami, it's a specific day. It's not the 5th day, but it was a sweet discussion amongst all the devotees. Knowing that Hera Panchami festival was drawing near, King Pratap would attentively talked with Kashi Mishra. From here this starts. Tomorrow will be the function of Hera Panchami. And what is Hera Panchami? Lakshmi Vijay, the victory of Lakshmi Devi. Hold this festival in a way that it has never been held before. I have only 1 hour. Can we continue this tomorrow also?
Yes.
Yes. महोत्सव करे तैचे विशेष संभर देखी महाप्रभु ये छे है चमत्कार. King Pratapru said, hold this festival in such a gorgeous way that upon seeing it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be completely pleased and astonished. So the mood of King Pratapru is to give pleasure to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that's another pastime how he was so much praying and begging to have darshan of Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu was not willing to extend his darshan to or meeting with King Prataprudra because he is king, and sannyasi is not supposed to see the king. Mahaprabhu is showing this ideal example of a sannyasi, because king is mostly surrounded by opulence, and if a sannyasi get interaction with kingly person or wealthy person, what if the desire of enjoying the material facilities can evoke in the heart? So Mahaprabhu is showing this with example. And there are many details into this. If I go into that details, we can't complete this Hera Panchami. This is what Sri Mahaprabhu showed. But then there's other level. I don't want to touch this point, otherwise the course will go in another direction. We'll hear some other time. So, Thakur Bandir ar Amar Bandere, Chitra Vastra Kinkani ar Chatra Chamare. Take as many printed cloths, small bells, umbrellas, and charmers as there are in my storehouse and in the deity storehouse. I'm going to skip a little bit. So King Pratapru is instructing Kashi Mishra, his assistant, to supply whatever they want. Even prior to Mahaprabhu, the cleaning of Gundicha temple was not same as what Mahaprabhu introduced with his associates. Even the pulling of chariot of Lord Jagannath was not that as Mahaprabhu introduced with his associates. So all these ceremonies, after Mahaprabhu came to Nilachal, it became on a different level, with special moods. Arrange the festival in such a way that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may freely go with his devotees to visit the deity without difficulty. That was instruction. This shows the love of King Prataprudra for Mahaprabhu. He was literally dying to see Mahaprabhu. So, in the morning, this morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his personal associates with him to see Lord Jagannath at Sundarachal. Sundarachal means? Gundicha temple, which is none other than Vrindavan. So Jagannath Puri temple is Nilachal, Dwarka, and Sundarachal is Vrindavan. Shri Mahaprabhu, with his personal devotees, returned to Nilachal with great eagerness to see the Hera Panchami festival. What is Hera Panchami? Panchami, if you understand, Panchami is the fifth day.
Chip rice festival?
No, that is Dahi Chida festival. That's different. This is Hera Panchami festival. So it starts from here. After being seated, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to hear about a particular mellow of devotional service. Therefore, mildly smiling, he began to question Sarup Damodar. So this art of asking question is amazing art. Mahaprabhu is asking to his assistant Sarup Damodar Goswami to get answer from him. Mahaprabhu wants to know or raise question, and Sarup Damodar Goswami is answering those questions, which give pleasure to Mahaprabhu. And answers are so appropriate, which nourishing the mood of Mahaprabhu. By reading this and speaking this, remember our dear Shamirani Didi also, she is very fond of asking question. Question Rani. Gurudev gave this title to her. And this is to give pleasure to the audience, to hear the appropriate answer, which also gives pleasure to her heart and to all the devotees. So asking question is not for one's pleasure all the time, but it's also for one's pleasure and the pleasure for the audience who are sitting and those who are watching on Facebook. So that was pronounced to Facebook friends. So Mahaprabhu raised this question. So regarding this question also, this another big story. Every philosophy starts with a question. Athato Brahm Jigyasa. That's the first Brahm Sutra. Athato Brahm Jigyasa. One should inquire about the Lord. If not inquiring about Krishna, then one's life is useless. As Sri Shankaracharya, who is Shankara Shakshat, means Shiva himself becomes Shankaracharya. He came as Shankaracharya, and he gave beautiful verses. In one of the verses, he giving teachings. Balas tavat kida sakta, taruni tavat taruni rakta, vriddhas tavat chinta magna, par brahmapi kopina magna, bhaj govindam, govindam bhajam mudamate. He is giving instruction. Balas tavat kida sakta, and this we can relate with this. Childhood, a person wastes one's life. How waste one's life? In childhood, playing with the toys. That's the only life of the child. Just toys. And when he gets teenager, then attractions. That's the only life. They think this is the only life. So wasting childhood in just playing with toys and getting teenager and adult in just attractions of opposite sex and attractions of the world. And old age, worries. All the time worries. That's by default. This is the age. Par Brahmapi Gopina Bhagna. No one wonders, no one wants to inquire about Par Brahm, means Krishna. Wasting 3 ages of life like this without inquiring about Krishna. The philosophy begins with inquiry, with the question, Athato Brahm Jigyasa, who is Bhagwan? Then the entire answer to this is all Brahm Sutras, composed by Shri Ved Vyasi. Then in Srimad Bhagavatam, from Canto 1 to Canto 12, what's all happening there? All question and answers, question and answers. Parikshit Maharaj asked question, Shukdev giving answer. Shri Shukdev Goswami giving answer. Sutta Shaunak Samvad. Sut Goswami, Shaunak Rishi is asking questions, Sut Goswami giving answers. Devhuti, Mother Devhuti, asking question, Kapil Bhagwan giving answers. Jad Bharat, Rogan asked question, Jad Bharat giving answer. Then Hiranyakashipu asking question, Prahlad Maharaj giving answer. Vidur Maitre Samvad. Vidurji asking question, Maitre is giving answer. Krishna raising question, Gopi is giving answer. Uddhav asked question, Krishna is giving answers. 11th canto. Everything is question answers. Arjun raised question, Krishna gave answer. All Bhagavad Gita. Shishyaste Shadimam Tam Prapandam. Everybody says question answer. Sanatan Goswami raised question, Ami Ke? Who am I? And Mahaprabhu gave all Sanatan Shiksha. So wherever you start with, everything is about question and answers. So Shri Mahaprabhu, he asked this question, although Lord Jagannath enjoys his pastime as Dwarka and naturally manifests sublime liberality there, still once a year he becomes unlimitedly eager to see Vrindavan. Why? Is he not happy in Jagannath Puri, in Dwarka? He's been served by so many queens and all the associates. Why he has to come to Vrindavan for 7 days? Pointing out the neighboring gardens. What are the neighboring gardens? Tell one. In Jagannath Puri, near to Nilachal, means Jagannath temple. How many have been Jagannath Puri? So what's the neighboring gardens there? Jagannath Vallabh Udyan, the garden very close to Shri Jagannath Puri temple, where Shri Ramananda Rai used to live. That's Vrindavan, where Mahaprabhu, after dancing and singing, he took a rest in that garden, and King Prataparudra came to massage his lotus feet. Mahaprabhu was not giving darshan, didn't want to meet King Prataparudra because his king has so much opulence, and sannyasi is not supposed to. Long story short, but while massaging the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, King Prataparudra, he chanted one verse from Gopi Gita. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi bhiniditam kalmashavam Shavanamangalam spread the message of Krishna, speaks the topics of Krishna, They are Bhurida Jana, the best donors. And Mahaprabhu, just by hearing this, he gave a very warm embrace to King Prataparutra. And King Prataparutra found no limits. He just became so happy to receive this touch of, the transcendental touch of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this garden, Sri Mahaprabhu said, all these gardens exactly resemble Vrindavan. Therefore, Lord Jagannath is very eager to see them again. Externally, he gave the excuse that he wanted to participate in the Rath Yatra festival. So the Rath Yatra festival is external cause. That's not the intent. It's just external activity. The intent is different. Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Gosai Maharaj Ji always used to emphasize on this. Your intent is more important than your actions. In our services also, whatever services we render to deities, to Guru, to Vaishnavas, what is the intent? That is very important. And one gets reciprocation from Guru and Krishna with your intent. Very important point. If the intent is to Atmindi Priti Vancha Tare Bole Kam, Krishna Indi Priti Vancha Dhari Premanam. If those services are meant to please the senses of Guru and Krishna, then it is service. But if those activities, can singing or speaking Hari Katha, anything, cooking, if it is to please my senses, then this is not prem. This is calm. Means I'm just enjoying my senses. Oh, I'm singing such melodious song, in such raga. But for whom? For my ears. So that I'm the center of that enjoyment. Whereas we as devotees, we have to give Krishna as the center of. By singing this, he is going to get pleasure with that intent. So right from the beginning, the intent has to be set up first. Understand? So what is the intent of Rath Yatra? There are many reasons to extend these darshans to everyone, those who can't enter inside Jagannath temple. Many reasons are there. So externally, he gave the excuse he want to participate in Rath Yatra festival. He would just want to go out, a vacation for some days. Everyone wants vacation. But actually he wants to leave Jagannath Puri. This is the intent of Krishna for Jagannath. He wants to leave Jagannath Puri to go to Sundrachal, means that Gundicha temple, the replica of Vrindavan. Krishna is where he feels more happy. Dwarka or Vrindavan?
Vrindavan.
Why? He is getting served in Dwarka also. He is getting served in Vrindavan also. What's the difference? It's just about getting served and drawing pleasure. What's the difference?
Is Vrindavan is gopis and Dwarka is queens?
Yes, that's a very good answer. In Dwarkas, he is served by the queens, and in Vrindavan, he is served by the gopis. And what's the difference? We're coming to this. The Lord enjoys his pastime day and night in various flower gardens there. But why did he not take Lakshmi Devi? That's a question of Mahaprabhu to Sarup Damodar Goswami. And only Sarup Damodar Goswami can give complete answers according to the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give pleasure. He can give the correct, appropriate, bona fide answers. And that's why Sri Sarup Damodar Goswami and Sri Ramanand Rai in Gambhira giving pleasure to Mahaprabhu. He matra dine dine Sarup Ramanand sane nij bhav kore na vidit bhare vishay jwala hoye bhitare anandmaye Krishna prem adbhut charitra. In this way, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Sarup Damodar Goswami and Sri Ramanand Rai in Gambhira giving pleasure to Mahaprabhu by reciting songs from Chandidas, Kalidas and Geet Govinda by Sri Jayadev Goswami, making Mahaprabhu crying and weep. You feel happy when you cry? Yes, not that well? Yes, crying is all about suffering. We cry when we are suffering, right? But in this verse, it's an astonishing feature of Krishna Prem, the transcendental love is, externally appears a person is crying and weeping, but internally is driving great pleasure. Bhare visha jala hoy, vitre anandamay. Externally, it's like poison, suffering, crying and weeping, but inside, great bliss. This can only be possible in the transcendental Krishna Prem. But a replica of this we can also see in material world. Just a reflection of this. Where you can see this? At airports. There's a departure gate, there's arrival gate. And I travel a lot, so I see these scenes many times. People do cry at departure gates, and they also cry at arrivals. So it's understandable if you are at departure gate, you're crying for someone who's leaving you. But why are you crying when someone is coming and receiving? Oh, why he came again? My God, Siddhanti Maharaj again. Oh. It's good he didn't came for 1 year. Better. Oh my gosh. He booked his ticket, now what to do? Arriving, at arrival, crying and weeping. That is a joy. Externally, tears coming from the eyes to receive. So, at the time of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev arriving in so many places, locations, and devotees with tears in their eyes. I remember in Govardhan, in Kartik, when the young girls, they used to come from different countries and they come to Srila Gurudev paying obeisance. And Gurudev only used to say simple words, oh, my daughters have come. Only these words, when they go in the ears of Gurudev, crying and weeping. So what is this? This cry is not about suffering, it's about happiness. Just a reflection of this. It can't be compared to Mahaprabhu, what transcendental bliss is relishing there. So the question is, the Lord enjoy, Mahaprabhu said, the Lord enjoy pastimes day and night in gardens there in Dwarka. But why did not take Lakshmi Devi, the goddess fortune, with him? So in Rath Yatra we see Shri Jagannath, Shri Baldev, Shri Subhadra, Sudarshan Chakra. Lakshmi Devi is not there, left behind. Swarup Damodar Goswami replied, my dear Lord, please hear the reason for this. Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, cannot be admitted to the pastime of Vrindavan. She has no access. Why not? She can go anywhere. She is goddess of fortune. She has access to her husband. She can go anywhere. She can go anywhere else, but she can't go Vrindavan. Because all right reserved in Vrindavan. Lakshmi Devi has no access there. Why not? Let us hear from Swarup Damodar Goswami. In the pastimes of Vrindavan, the only assistants are the gopis. But for the gopis, no one can attract the mind of Krishna. The way the gopis have attracted Krishna, Lakshmi cannot do this. The queens of Dwarka cannot do this. And that's why Sri Rupa Goswami Pad described the three categories of that prem, that love, in Ujjwal Nimani as Samanjasya Rati, Sadharni Rati, which is, Rati means attachment, means love. So Sadharni Rati is the love of Gubja from Mathura for Krishna. Then Samanjasya Rati, the love which the queens of Dwarka have for Krishna. And then Samartha Rati. Sri Rupa Goswami Pad defined this with many verses and many details. Samartha Rati is only the attachment, the love for gopis have for Krishna. Love is love, anyone can say. It's not a generalized love. It has specification. When there is delusion in that love, or the different levels of love, in which, again coming to that point, if I am getting pleasure in service to Krishna, then that love, that pleasure of my service is not transcendental, is not pure, because my pleasure is involved, included in that service to Krishna. Kubja had love for Krishna, but it's ordinary love. With this mood, by along with Krishna, I'll be very happy. So Rupa Goswami Pad gave this term Sadharnivati, ordinary kind love. Because her mood is, I will drive pleasure, I'll by along with Krishna. Then other level is Samajasya from the queens of Dwarka. And their mood is, by serving Krishna, he will be happy and we will also drive happiness. So whenever in that service I comes in between Krishna, then it is not considered to be pure love. Krishna will get pleased, we will also get pleased. So it's like 50-50. But Samartharati, the gopis, the love of gopis, Braj gopis. And what is their mood? And then Braj gopis, then Radharani. Samartharati. We get pleasure or not, we have nothing to do with that. We don't care. But Krishna should be always pleased. And just for sake of pleasing Krishna, they take opposite mood. Parkya bhava, the paramour mood. Just to give pleasure to Krishna. Parkya bhava is what?
Unmarried.
Unmarried, paramour mood. But there are 4 ingredients present in this word parikya. Is it getting too high? It's philosophical. By Rupa Goswami in Ujjwal Nirmani, he defines parikya mode have 4 ingredients. The 4 ingredients has to be there. One is prachan kamukta, concealed desires. Second, durlabhta, rare attain. Third, vamata, leftist mood. And fourth, nivaranta. 4 ingredients. And then some Vaishnava also say one addition. Rupa Goswami is only saying 4. And 5th is man, salgi mood. If these 4 ingredients are present, then that mood can be only defined as parikya. If these 4 ingredients are not present, that's not parikya then. That's not paramour mood. Shri Rupa Goswami stamped on this. Prachan kamukta, durlabhta means it's rare to meet. It's not easy. Nivaranta, vamata means leftist mood, not submissive mood. So these 4 ingredients in Parikya Bhav is not for their happiness. It's all for Krishna's happiness. Atayam gopi gane nahi kam gandh, Krishna sukha lagi kare Krishna se sambandh. Adi Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita. Gopis have no tinge of any selfish desires in them. Everything is for Krishna. Everything is for Krishna, nothing else for. And this mood of Radharani is expressed by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Radha Bhavduti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Sarupam. Shri Mahaprabhu expressed that mood because Radharani, she don't express her mood, she always keep her mood hidden in her heart. But Mahaprabhu is expressing that mood. How is expressing that mood? We recite every day in the morning Chaitanya Shikshashtakam. What is that mood?
Asvishva Paratam Pinashuma Adarsanam Marmahatam Karotuva Yata Tata Vivato Lampato Makranatas Sae Banapara.
You know the meaning? No?
I mean, maybe if you start saying it, I'll know
Can you give the gist of this, the essence?
Which one?
This verse?
Last verse.
This last one? Oh yes, you can handle me roughly by your embrace. Do anything with me. I am completely yours, no matter what.
Any other?
You can, whether you pierce the core of my heart by not being present before me, trample me under your feet and handle me roughly by your embrace. You're still the Lord of my life, birth after birth. I have no one other than you.
Is that easy to say? Even as sadhakas, practitioners, we have expectations. If I'm chanting holy name, I should feel happy. If I'm not driving any pleasure, what is the point of coming SVA? Huh? If I'm not driving pleasure, what is the point coming here? Seeing all the paintings. I'm sad. What's the point chanting? What's the point of serving? Because I'm not happy. This is another level. So every stage, everything is levels. Yes, in the beginning, we desire this. But there's a stage, very high stage, where a devotee don't desire. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving us, sadhakas, such a great hope with his sweet words, saying, Tomar sevaye dukh hai jato, seito param sukha. What is the meaning?
If I undergo.
By even taking on this stress, I will be in supreme bliss.
Tomar sevaye dukh hai jato. Oh Krishna, if I'm getting some sufferings in your services, I should not be worried about that. I should take those sufferings as great pleasure. Because you are the center of that suffering. You are the center of that suffering. It's a source of pleasure for me. Such a high mood. But when we start serving, we go through many obstacles and obstructions, and immediately we get bewildered and oh, it's too much. Give up. Always remember this verse of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In every service for Krishna, he is a transcendental personality, Satchidananda Vigraha. And we are trying to serve him with our material senses and conceptions and perceptions. So it's a big contrast. It's not compatible. So we're going to serve Krishna, who's transcendental, Satchidananda Vigraha, not any material person. There's always some obstacles comes. Embrace those obstacles as a source of joy, because Krishna, you are the center of that. That's what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is teaching. Embrace those. Is good is coming. Will be in the shape. These obstacles coming. And there are many other points. I want to focus on this, but my direction is going different. So this is the mood of the gopis in Vrindavan, and that makes a lot of difference. Krishna can only be controlled by Braj gopis with a rope of pranena rasena ditangri padma, with a rope which is not been seen. Not all the ropes can bind you. There are some subtle ropes which not been seen. Just like Sri Raghunath Das Goswami is always running away from home. And once upon a time his mother told to her husband, we should bind Raghunath with a rope, because he's always running away. And what father replied? The rope of the love and affection of his beautiful wife can't bind him. And the rope of the opulence, what we have, can't bind him. What this ordinary rope can bind? He can't bind. Okay? So we don't need a rope to bind. There's a very subtle and important rope, that is the rope of love. And everyone in this material world also, they are attached with this rope, they are bound with this rope. We have to cut that rope to get bound with the rope of the love for Shri Radha Raman Bihari. How come? Following the footsteps of Braj Gopis. Who's teaching us how to follow the footsteps of Braj Gopis? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. They're teaching us. The Lord said, Using the card festival as an excuse, Krishna goes there with Subhadra and Baldev. Now, again a big question. Why then Baldev and Subhadra? Then why not Lakshmi? What's wrong with Lakshmi? All the pastimes with the gopis take place in those gardens are very confidential ecstasies of Lord Krishna. No one knows them. Since there is no fault at all in Krishna's pastimes, why does the goddess of fortune become angry? There's no fault. Any fault in the pastimes of Krishna? No fault. But then why Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, gets angry? Sarup Damodar Goswami replied, it is the nature of a girl afflicted by love to become immediately angry upon finding neglect on the part of her lover. Now Shri Sarup Damodar Goswami, with these words, with full of Siddhanta, transcendental, Siddhanta means, how you say in English, Siddhanta?
Conclusive truth.
Conclusive truth or philosophical point, and all transcendental in nature. With these words, he is giving pleasure to the ears of Mahaprabhu. Sarup kahe, prem vatira ei te swabhav, kanter udasya leshe hai krodh bhav. Again, it is the nature of a girl afflicted by love to become immediately angry upon finding neglect on the part of her lover. The lover is not giving attention. The girl gets what? Angry. Why I'm not getting any reciprocation or attention? While Sarup Damodar Goswami and Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were talking, while they were discussing, the procession of the goddess of fortune came by. Have you ever seen this pastime in Puri? I saw many times. It's very funny. They bring the goddess of fortune Lakshmi Devi on the chariot, on the palanquin, along with her associates. And then one priest of Lakshmi Devi, as a representative of Lakshmi Devi, he orders the associates, go and break the chariot of Jagannath. And just like a ritual, they go and they just punch, or with that one axe, they break the chariot. And we take a straw and break the straw and throw away like this. I saw this. It's a funny pastime. While Sarup Damodar Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were talking, the procession of goddess of fortune came by. Lakshmi Devi came. How she was coming? She was riding upon a golden palanquin carried by 4 men and bedecked with variety of jewels. The palanquin, because she is Lakshmi. Her palanquin is made of gold and jewels, and 4 men were carrying the palanquin. The palanquin was surrounded by people carrying umbrellas, charmer, whisk, and flags, and it was preceded by musicians and dancing girls. She is Lakshmi Devi. So much opulence is there. Very sophisticated style, not ordinary style, because she is queen. The maid servants were carrying water pitchers, charmer, whisks, and boxes for betel nuts for Lakshmi Devi. And there were hundreds of maid servants, all attractively dressed with valuable necklaces. This is the entourage of Lakshmi Devi. And now come the point where Mahaprabhu is enjoying this. Seeing this, Mahaprabhu is enjoying. In an angry mood, Lakshmi arrived at the main gate of the temple, accompanied by many members of her family, her associates, all of whom exhibited uncommon opulence. They look so opulent, their attire, their jewelry, the ornaments, uncommon. When the procession arrived, the maid servants of Lakshmi Devi began to arrest all the principal servants of Lord Jagannath, because Jagannath is not present there. They arrested the servants, and this is what happens when they, imitate this pastime every year on this day. Actually, it happens. I saw this. they come and they arrest the priest of Jagannath, the main panda, like with a rope, just like to display a pastime. The maid servants bound the servants of Jagannath, handcuffed them, and made them fall down at the lotus feet of Lakshmi Devi. Fall at her feet, ask forgiveness. Indeed, they were arrested just like thieves who have all the riches taken away. When the servants fall down before the lotus feet of Goddess Fortune Lakshmi, they almost fall unconscious. We have finished. They are chastised and made the butt of jokes and loose language. And if you understand the Odia language, the words they use, oh, amazing. Sometimes we have to close our ears. We can't hear that. Such rough and loose language they use there. You rascal does this and that so much. When Mahaprabhu associates saw such impudence exhibited by the maid servants of Lakshmi, they covered their faces with their hands and began to smile. And actually, this is 500 years back. But even when we were there and we hearing those loose language and words, even we brahmacharis smiling. What they're saying, such, loose languages they're using. Sarvadamodar Goswami said, there is no egoistic pride like this within the three worlds. At least I have neither seen or nor heard of it. So much pride, so much ego in Lakshmi Devi. Mahaprabhu said, Sarup Damodar, what kind of man is that? And when I was hearing the lecture of Srila Gurudev on this, Gurudev was saying that we never heard this kind of man. Man means sulky mood. If a manani means if a girl is in sulky mood, she never decorate her body to exhibit her sulky mood. Whereas she becomes, Shri Rupa Goswami told in Punjali Mali, Kalhantarika. Kalhantarika means at the time of exhibiting man, they take off all their ornaments, lose their hairs, all ornaments. Whereas Lakshmi Devi, what kind of man she is exhibiting? She came with all opulence, decorated her body with so many ornaments. This is a different kind of man. When a woman is neglected and disappointed, out of egoistic pride, she gives up all her ornaments and morosely sits down on the floor, marking lines on it with her nails. This is supposed to be bona fide man, showing disappointment to her beloved. Whereas in this case it's totally different. You getting? Understanding? A little bit? I have heard of this kind of pride in Satyabhama, Krishna's queen in Dwarka. And I have also heard of it in the gopis of Vrindavan, who are the reservoirs of all transcendental levels. We heard of man of Satyabhama. Rukmani has no man. Rukmani is very submissive, righteous mood, submissive mood. But Satyabhama, she exhibit man, leftist mood. But there is a difference between the man of Satyabhama and the man of Braj Gopis. We can't say all man is same. As in Dwarka Leela, time is running so fast. And it's such a beautiful pastime. In Dwarka, once upon a time Krishna, he wanted to enjoy some joke with Rukmani. Let us enjoy some jokes in Gras Ashram. Rukmani was fanning Krishna. And Krishna said, Rukmani, you did a mistake by marrying me. There were so many handsome, beautiful, opulent princes around. You could have married to someone else, but I'm a coward. You see, I ran away from battlefield. Ranchor. And I'm in the middle of this ocean here. So I'm not appropriate for you. Rukmani can't handle this. What you saying? And Fanny, she fell unconscious. Krishna said, oh, I was just joking with you. She can't even reciprocate that simple joke. And that is not pleasing to Krishna. Then he tried the same thing with Satyabhama. I heard from some Vaishnavas some years back. He tried with his Satyabhama also. The same joke. And Satyabhama, she speak on the face and rebuke Krishna. Krishna externally smiled, but he was not very happy because he's remembering how Braj Gopis used to reply. Rukmani can't reply at all. She fell unconscious. Satyabhama, she's so rough, she's so rude. She's very rough. But same thing in Braj Gopis. They also speak, rebuke Krishna, you liar, you gochi, but there's something different in that, in Braj Gopis. And what is that? In the rebuking of Braj Gopis, they're all mixed emotions, so much respect, rebuking words, respect, love, emotions, everything all together, like complete package. And that's the difference of the man of Satyabhama and the man of the Braj Gopis. The answers to the Krishna, if Krishna is saying something to Radharani or the Vishaka, the way they answer or they rebuke Krishna, that those words, if you read Prem Sampur Chamatkar Chandrika, those words which they speak is full of love, dedication, and is full of respect also. Whereas the words of Satyabhama, it is not the same. So Krishna is not very happy and pleased with hearing, or the man of Satyabhama, as he is happy and pleased to see the man of the Braj Gopis. In the case of Lakshmi Devi, I see a different kind of pride. She manifests her own opulence and even goes with her soldiers to attack husband. This is the way to exhibit man. Even in the simple pastime of Kakai, in pastime of Treta Yuga, Lord Ram, she exhibited man too. She came to her husband, Dashrath Maharaj, that I don't want to speak to you. And she exhibited man. And she went to the Kop Bhavan, They are so rich. They have one complete section where it's meant to exhibit man. And what are the symptoms? Taking away all the ornaments, losing the hairs, and drawing lines with a nail, toenails, and crying and weeping. But man cannot be in an angry mood. Lakshmi Devi, such astonishing, she came with all opulence, ornamented. And that man is not man, it is anger on her husband. This was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he saw this, he became surprised and he said, please tell me of the varieties of pride manifest in Vrindavan. Sarup Damodar, I want to hear this. Sarup Damodar Goswami replied, the pride of the gopis is like a river flowing with hundreds of tributaries. The pride of the gopis are not ordinary. Even the pride of the gopis, or the man of the gopis, or submission of the gopis, is all for pleasing Krishna. When they are in separation, what comes from their lotus lips? The mood of submission. In Milan, in union, the words are totally different from the words which comes from the lotus lips in the time of separation. So we see all the Geet, Pranay Geet, Gopi Geet, Brahmar Geet, Yugal Geet, Venu Geet, all these Geet spoken by Braj Gopis, they're the mode of separation. And we see the mode of submission is there. But only in separation, the mode of submission comes. In union there is no submission. In union, a pride. And there are many waves of that pride. And in both cases, either way, it is meant to please Krishna. Straight formula, bottom line. Gopi gan nahi kaam gand, Krishna sukha lage kare Krishna se sambandh. Kaviraj Goswami is describing. In gopis there is no tinge of any self-enjoyment or pleasure. The words of submission in separation or the words of rebuking in meeting, they are not contrasted. The mood of submission is always in separation. The moods of rebuking words is always in union. In both cases, is meant for pleasing Krishna. We will continue this tomorrow. For now, keeping here, paying obeisances to Shri Radha Raman Bihari Ji, all Rupanubha Guru Vargas, and to Didi here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. And as usual, Didi have a question.
So, you said there's submission and separation. I wonder if you could explain what type of submission that is in relation to the straw and the boiling milk.
To straw?
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah. Didi remind us of Srila Gurudev lectures in Vrindavan and Mathura. If there is a straw in a pot there is a milk and a straw fell or a straw is in the pot, then the straw is in at the bottom. Just try this. The straw is always at the bottom of the pot in the milk. How to see that straw coming up on the layer, on the top of the milk? Then start boiling the milk. When the milk starts boiling, then the straw automatically comes up on the top layer. Yes? Yes, Didi?
But
Physics.
it doesn't stay.
Huh?
It only comes up for a second.
For a second and then again it goes.
Yeah, because it's boiling.
It's boiling. So if you lower the stove, the flame, then the stove will again come on the bottom. But if you higher the flame, again the stove will come up. What is that flame? Separation. The separation of Raj Gopis. For showing that love, their prem, or the moods which they are having in their heart, Krishna wants to relish and enjoy those moods. And therefore, most of the time, intentionally he put Braj Gopis into separation by disappearing from Ras Leela. So that means Krishna is selfish. He wants to make Radharani cry. He wants to make Braj Gopis cry. What kind of beloved is Krishna? Rejecting, neglecting, disappointing his loved ones. So in the entire Krishna Leela, there is not any word called selfish. If Radharani is serving Krishna, Krishna is also serving Radharani and the Braj Gopis. Even though he is enjoyer. But his mood is always to express, to exhibit, or to show the moods of the Braj Gopis. What love or what prem they are holding in their heart, so that they can get glorified everywhere. Because Radharani and Braj Gopis, they are always concealing, they are always hiding the mood. She never wants to express this. always hiding in her heart. But how it has to come out? Krishna intentionally put them into separation. So when they express that mood, it comes in the form of Venu Gita, it comes in the form of Brahma Gita, and many others. To express the glories of Radharani. So there's a competition. If Radharani is serving Krishna, or Krishna is serving Radharani. But who wins? In every case.
Radharani.
Simple formula. And anything that you want to add, we'd like to hear from you, please. Anuman, please add on this. We want to hear.
Well, I'll find a reference and speak to you tomorrow more before your class. But just an example is given when Uddhav came to Vrindavan and Nanda Baba was expressing his separation, and then Uddhava said he didn't know how to reply because Nanda Baba was wailing uncontrollably. He said, I don't know whether to tell you to stop crying or to tell you to keep crying, because that's the highest love, is to weep for Krishna. And then I'll have to find the details for you, but Nanda Baba said, yes, you're so lucky because even though you're so lucky because your son is God. And then he said, yes, my son is God, and God left me. That's really, really lucky of me, isn't it? And then he said, and if Krishna wants to show mercy, then let him give us salvation. In other words, even the feeling of, what did you say it was in separation?
Huh?
Submission.
Submission.
Oh, submission. Even the submission has sarcasm in it. That's why when the milk is boiling, even when it's boiling, the straw comes up for a second, and in the turmoil of the boil, then it goes right down. So it's only very momentary, and it's also with some sarcasm. Shlesha, Vakya, that. But I'll find some things and show you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you, Didi. And also on this, she's inspired me to remember Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu. Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, he wrote Siddhanta Ratna, a book in which there is a beautiful verse. Aishwarya Nishthanam Madhurya Prakashakam Saraswati Prava Gauntasi Vere Visme Vipatecha Saraswati Eva Pravasa. The meaning is, Krishna is the embodiment of all opulence and sweetness. But in 3 occasions, Virahe, separation, Visme, astonishment, Vire Visme Vipadecha, and in calamity. These 3 occasions. The opulence of Krishna comes on the top. He gave example just like the confluence of 3 rivers, Ganga, Jamuna and Saraswati at Prayag. We see Ganga and Jamuna, one can see Ganga and Jamuna flowing, but Saraswati is always undercurrent. But on a special occasions, Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu is describing this. Aishwarya Nishtanam Madhurya Prakashasam Saraswati Prava Gauntasi Vire Visme Vipadecha Saraswati Eva Pravas. So on the special occasions of full moon or new moon, dark moon, the flow, the stream of Saraswati is also being seen on the top. Special occasions. Otherwise Saraswati is undercurrent. But there's a confluence of 3 rivers together. So by taking this example, Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu describing 3 occasions: Virehe, separation; Vismay, astonishment; and Vipad, calamity. The Braj Gopis, they are seeing the opulence of Krishna. Not believing, but seeing the opulence of Krishna on special occasions. These 3 special occasions. Virahe, in separation; Vishajalapaya Vyalarajasa. Oh, Krishna, you have done this, you have done this, you have done this. They're speaking the opulence of Krishna, but actually they didn't mean. They only heard from Purnamashi, Yogamaya. But they are expressing this in these three situations. And Shivaldev with the Ocean Prabhu is saying, just like the stream of Saraswati is being seen on these two occasions and is undercurrent. Similarly, Gopis, what they heard from Purnamashi, from Yogamaya, they expressed this only in these three times.
And that's the point you mentioned, that they don't believe it.
They don't believe this.
They're using it as an excuse, as
Yes.
an excuse to be
They
angry.
don't believe. They only just excuse.
Like,
Remember when they met Krishna at Kurukshetra and they called him Padmanava? Oh, Padmanava, who has the lotus coming out from your navel. What did they mean? They didn't mean that you're Vishnu, even though he said he was at that time. But who comes out of the lotus? Brahma. And Brahma, because he was born from an inert thing, a lotus flower, his brain is inert. So he could think that you're God, but we're too smart for that.
Yes. They were sarcastic on Krishna. They said, at Kurukshetra, the meeting. So that meeting took place after long separation. After Viyog, long separation. So they are rebuking Krishna. Because Krishna tried to console and pacify them using his opulence. Mai bhaktir hi bhutanam amrita kalpate. And Gopis saying what? Krishna said, see, I am situated in everyone's heart. So just see me in your hearts and get satisfied. What is there to cry and feeling separation? They became very angry. And what they said? Nahi gopi yogeshwar pad kamala tomar chitte paive santosh tomar vakya paripati tar madhye kuti nati shuni gopi ar bada rosh. Krishna, your words making us more angry. Why are you making us more angry? You're telling us to meditate on you just like the yogis do? Nahi gopi yogeshwar. We are not yogis, we are gopis. We are not satisfied just by, meditating on your lotus feet as the yogis do. Nahi gopi yogeshwar padakamala tomar chitte paive santosh. We are not happy with this. And tomar vakya paripati, the words which you are using to pacify us, tar madhye kuti nati, full of hypocrisy. Full of hypocrisy. Shuni gopi ar bada rosh. You're making us more angry. So this happens when a meeting takes place.
and also when you told them,
You said to remember you, meditate on you. We're trying to forget you because you're causing us so much
Yes.
trouble since the beginning.
Yeah. So what can be good answer than this?
Well,
What did he say?
is that like
For the audience who, sorry, yes, go ahead.
no, is that like the principle you say, don't think of the pink elephant in the room, don't think of the more you say it, then you're thinking of the pink elephant.
Krishna said, meditate on me, remember me. Gopi said, you instructing us to remember you, we don't want to remember you, we want to forget you. We want to forget you, we don't want to remember you. Yeah. So these are not just sweet dialogues, but there's a great siddhanta in that, which is so important to know. If you don't hear siddhanta, which is a foundation, a platform, one cannot understand or get acquainted with the ras vichar. So seems like me hearing this in the Kurukshetra meeting of Braj Gopis and Krishna. Oh, so nice, relishable. But it's not just sweet dialogues. What is the siddhanta behind this? Understanding the siddhanta, then one can understand what gopis are saying, why they are saying, and what emotions are there, and what Krishna is saying and why he's saying, what emotions are there. that can only be understandable if we know the Siddhanta behind this. Otherwise it will be just a mere dialogues, nothing else. Am I right, Didi? Yes, she sanctioned this. Gaur Premanande,
Hari Hari Bol.
Srila Gurudev ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai,
Jai.
Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai,
Jai.
Hera Panchami ki
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vyavacha patitanam